across the wide world. Well, welcome to another fantastic no-brainer show. I'm your host, Zach the Goat. What's going on? And I've got my co-host tonight, D-Rex in effect. And we're coming to you live on Tuesday Night Live with the No-Brainer crew. I'm going to start the show off, and I'm just letting everybody know tonight's going to be a different show. We got a lot to talk about. I'm a little fired up. I got a lot of things to talk about and get off my chest. I might tick some people off. I'm going to try and do my best to stay as un-Jersey as I possibly can. Un-Jersey?
Jersey.
I won't let my Jersey come up. What's up, Derek? How you doing? I haven't seen you in forever, it seems like.
Well, we've all been busy, right?
So last week, you had an exciting week last week. You went up to Michigan to see your grandpa Pa for his 100th birthday?
Yeah, it was interesting. That was on September 11th, actually, which was the day. Yeah, September 11th was a weird day in terms of that.
I felt really bad because I realized I didn't post anything about September 11th. I usually have flags all over. I'm wearing my American flag shirt tonight, and I got my cross hat on because September 10th, we lost a very a pioneer, a true American, a Christian. First and foremost, he was definitely a son of Jesus, without any questions asked. And he was taken away from us far too soon. I unfortunately, is it fortunate or unfortunately believe that is going to be the turning point of America. How apropos his company's called Turning Point.
Well, it's unfortunate. If you believe it's a turning point, that's good that it's a turning point, but it's very unfortunate that the event is the cause of the turning point, obviously, right?
Correct. I hate saying thoughts and prayers because I think that's just what people say, like a knee-jerk answer, a reaction to whatever. I think heartfelt feelings, condolences to his family, his children. My goodness, I'm a dad. I couldn't imagine just leaving my wife at 31 years old with two little children. It's heartbreaking. And look, I don't care where you stand in the aisle. If you guys knew us from our old show when we did the political shtick, we did a lot of jibber jabber, and that was a lot of fun. It was all. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, look, I felt the way I felt, but Trippy and I are really good friends, and we still love each other and talk to each other to this day. People thought we hated each other because he was the crazy left and I was the crazy right. Not at all. We've known each other for 30 years. It's gonna take a lot more than the greatest president ever to come into office to ruin that friendship. But I think, and if you don't know who I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. I mean, obviously you'd have to live under a rock in the middle of a desert to not know who I'm talking about. I think that's going to be kind of like when my mom was a kid, and she can tell you exactly where she was when Martin Luther King got assassinated and when John F. Kennedy got assassinated. I think he is the new Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy of our century or our decade, whatever you want to call it. And I know for the rest of my life, it's almost like 9/11. I can tell you exactly where I was. And I'm heartbroken. I forgot to memorials 9/11 because it's just, God bless. There was so much going on with the untimely execution, murder, assassination, martyrdom of Charlie. I don't even know how to put it in words. I've watched so many different videos. I've listened to so many different conspiracy theories, and we're going to dive into that tonight because I think a lot of it is just a bunch of hokey pokey nonsense. I don't know. I can't say. I don't have an answer, but I want to dive into this tonight. Tonight is a memorial show on more than one level. We lost, like I said, an amazing pioneer. I mean, he did stuff for podcasting. He did stuff for free speech. He did stuff for, I mean, it was just the stuff he did. It just kick the doors off of. I mean, at 31 years old, I was still trying to figure out what to do with a baby's diaper. You know, I I don't know how he does it. I've watched him, and I'll get into this too. I've had people approach me because I posted about his passing, um, who really didn't know him, didn't really follow him, but they may have heard things and wanted to know my thoughts and feelings. How could I, you're such a good guy. How could you follow him or whatever? I sat back and said, you know what? I need to answer these questions properly. I need to answer them wisdom, Christian, whatever you want to say. I said, so I gotta sit and watch some of it. What was he a bigot? Was he a racist? Did I miss something? And I sat and watched endless interviews that he did, either with college students or on his show or whatever. And let me tell you what, I couldn't have done it. Look, many people out there know me. I'm the most loving, outgoing guy, but when it's time for a throat punch, you're going to get a throat punch. And half those students, he showed nothing but respect and love towards, but debated with him because they came up to the mic. He gave them a platform to use their First Amendment right, and he was using his First Amendment right. And they gave him a platform to chat back and forth. And I never, ever saw him get angry. I mean, there's a couple times he got, would you call it anger, Derek, or was it more of a righteous upsettedness when someone was?
I think it's fair to say debates can get heated or, you know, challenging or intense, and I think that's just a indication of your passion towards what you do believe.
Look, all I got to say is,
And so there's difference in demeanor, and there's difference in tonality, and there's difference in content. So content alone, you know, there's nothing wrong with believing what you need to believe,
right.
especially in his case too. Demeanor wise, you know, as far as self control and getting heated. I mean, yeah, obviously there's moments, but there weren't any moments that were what I call would be a character assassination.
Correct.
For anyone who doesn't know that term, it's a marriage term, basically saying you solve problems, you don't attack each other's character, because then, you know, that whole bridge that was being built is absolutely destroyed. So for me, the important discernment in all this bullshit is, you know, did he commit character assassination? And I think the objective answer is no.
Never
The
saw it
second
once.
part, the second part of all this bullshit to me is the fact that we're having these conversations about what type of person he was doesn't matter, because I'm a pretty hardcore conservative, and if it was AOC or Elizabeth Warren, I think my stomach would be the same, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because whenever it can happen to one person, it can happen to any person. So it doesn't matter that you had a different ideology than someone else. If that happens, that's a precedent now that can be done at any time. So that's a deterrent from having the conversation and the discussion that Charlie Kirk pushed as dissolving division and avoiding violence. And it's ironic and disgusting that he was taken out when he was the biggest preacher of that theme. He was the sufferer on the shortest end of the stick with the bullet of basically intolerance. So I think it's all bullshit. I don't think there's anything more here than a horrific, disgusting, terrifying act. Just with social media we have now, you know, I didn't go out seeking it, but of course I saw it, and you know, it's disturbing.
I I was so we didn't do a show last week. Two reasons. Derek was in Michigan for his grandfather's 100th anniversary, his birthday, which God bless him. He was a World War II vet, and he has served our country and lived an amazing life, from what I understand. Correct, Derek?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
100
from what
years.
you and I would consider, probably, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty amazing in my opinion.
I was on the flip side. I flew up to my mom Monday morning. My mom had a massive stroke, had a blood clot to the brain, and I was sitting with her. I flew up Tuesday. She was awake. They said she wasn't going to wake up. They said she was brain dead. She actually did wake up. She talked to me. Wasn't very understandable. She had the droop going and everything, but I understood when she, said she loved me and she knew exactly that I was there. And she said my name. She knew everything. I said, "Hey, mom, remember I told you my hand got hurt?" And she, put it on her face and she kissed it. It was so sweet. While I was not watching TV. I didn't have my phone with me. Nothing. I had my phone, but I wasn't on it. And Lorianne texted me and said, "Hey, did you see Charlie Kirk got shot?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, was it bad?" And she's like, "Go watch the video." And I went online immediately and saw it, and I was like, "God, help him." From my background experience in life and things I've done, I immediately knew that he was not walking away from that. I'm sorry. It was as horrific as the shot it was. I saw it up close. That I think the video's been scrubbed. Thank God, because hopefully his children would never have to see that searching the internet. Like, how did my dad die? Um, uh, you don't walk away from that. And I immediately sent it to my best friend who's a doctor, and I said, "Is he unfixable?" He said, "He's dead. There's no question in my mind. He's not getting up." So I was with my mom on her deathbed watching one of my, uh, you know, broadcasting heroes, someone who supports the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, everything we stand for. I don't care if you're left or right. As we just said this before a minute ago, I don't care if you're left or right. If you're in broadcasting, you want your voice to be heard. Doesn't matter what you're saying, as long as you're not saying things that are evil to hurt people. Okay, you could believe whatever you want to believe. The earth is flat, the moon is made out of cheese, whatever. If that's your platform, stand on it. And you know what? I support you as a brother broadcaster. Okay. You may be an idiot, or maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know, whatever. But it doesn't give anyone the right to shoot you. Just because you don't believe or agree or think like that person, you're not judge, jury, and executioner. And whomever did that, now, there's so many conspiracy theories going on. I've watched so many different videos. I've talked to friends who are special forces, and they explained exactly what happened. There's no second shooter. It was that the kid actually he was going for a headshot and missed. He was off by like 6 inches. It's lucky. He's lucky that unlucky that he got hit where he got hit, but the kid's lucky that he hit him because he completely missed. You don't shoot for the neck. It's, as I've heard many pastors say, it's apropos that he was shot in the neck because his voice box is there, and it was obviously the silence. But when you are going to kill someone, it's a headshot or a chest shot. There's no other anywhere. And for the kid was 200 yards out. Most trained snipers can pick which nostril they're going to send the bullet up. That's just how it is. So when he got hit, it's just dramatic. I mean, I can't watch it. I won't watch it again. It was horrific. I showed it to a couple friends, and everybody agreed it was just the worst ever. The good side of it, if you could look at death as a good thing, I believe that now he's awoken a sleeping giant, and we're going to see some serious things going on. I do not, and under any circumstances, stand for violence. I think we need to have discussions, and we need to sit down and figure this all out, because nobody else needs to get shot. Nobody else needs to die. But I believe that this, unfortunately, is gonna. I mean, they've been flicking the lighter by the powder keg for long enough, and I think the fuse just got lit. I think his wife is going to take over Turning Point, and it's going to be bigger and badder.
Did you see the response video she had on?
Yes.
Yeah. On Fox, I think it was.
Look, I'm not a soft dude. My wife will tell you differently. I get choked up in, kitten commercials for the ASPCA or whatever, but there's sometimes videos I just can't watch. And when her response, that was heartbreaking, but I mean, he did. Okay, let's talk about it. They said that this would mean nothing. His death would absolutely not change anything. Yet I'm watching rallies across the country, and then I'm seeing rallies across the world.
Who's they?
The other side, people who wanted
who said that?
There's actually a video. I'll have to send it.
It's actually the one thing I didn't hear anyone say.
Yeah, a girl said that nothing's going to become of this. and 3 million. 3 million. Now, Derek, your favorite town is London. Did you watch the march they went down on London? 3 million people showed up.
Yeah, I watched it was like from Waterloo Station all the way up. I think it was across Westminster Bridge, and then which is the bridge that connects like the old like government hall to what people call Big Ben, Elizabeth Tower, and then it ran east down Whitehall Street, which is one of the main streets where like the Mall ends, and like it goes to Trafalgar Square essentially. So
Right.
I heard all kinds of different numbers, in the hundreds of thousands and then the millions, but I just decided to watch a drone footage of it from start to beginning fly over, and I was like, holy shit. It was a lot of people. And it wasn't primarily for Charlie Kirk, it was also for
No. Yeah. They're fighting a
Tommy,
bunch of
what's
other
his
stuff.
face?
Yeah.
It was a free speech type of thing, but it all kind of just melted together at the same time. And so
I mean, they were walking with crosses and pictures of Charlie. So
right.
but there was
And,
not 3
and
million
it's just people there
marching.
too fed up with their immigration policies
Yes.
too. So it's free speech, immigration policies, obviously persecution, and that it all just like, I won't say the word beautiful, but it was kind of a blend. It was a smooth blend, where it was like, this makes sense.
And it was, from what I saw, peaceful.
Yep. Usually
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I did not see any violence that I saw, which is great. It proves a point. I unfortunately
Conservatives don't protest violently.
Wait. So you're saying that after Charlie got shot, they didn't go burn down cities, and
No,
Salt Lake City didn't get burned to the ground? And
no,
oh my goodness,
no.
that's
People went
strange.
to church.
Yeah, I went to church too. But
I guess
did
if you
see-
want to make it like a political talking point, I think that's a good one. It's like, look at the source. Look at the issues, right, and who riots from where. And it's like there wasn't any.
Well, do we remember the Summer of Love?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? What was it? 2.8 billion, or was it $1 trillion worth of damage was done in the Summer of Love?
I don't even know.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was the Summer of Love. So I did some research on that march over there. They were marching because they are tired of the immigration issues. They had major march in Germany, a couple other places they had immigration marches, and I think Europe's turning around. I unfortunately think it may turn into a civil war. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't see into the future, but I mean, the pot's boiling right there, and
I think it's been turning. I think it's been shifting for quite some time, honestly, because it's been pretty progressive governments in Germany and France and UK. And if you talk to the everyday man and the hordes, whatever, those same sentiments are not shared. It's more of a message of our country doesn't care about us because they let any immigrants come in, get free businesses, and take over, and costs are out of control, and blah 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 blah. I think it's been that way for like 7 or 8 years now, but it's like there's corruption in like the election process in UK and France though too, to where people keep getting in office that it's like I don't know if that's legit or not. So it's not as first world civilized organized corruption as you think. It's kind of barbaric. So we'll see what happens now, but seems like
the more important thing,
huge
and God bless them. We'll keep everybody over there in our prayers and thoughts and everything like that. But more important is America. Like what's going to happen next? Where are we going from here? Let me finish anyway. So I was up at my mom's bedside. Spent the week with her. Unfortunately, no. I'm stop using that word. Fortunately, she passed away. I was really torn Friday night. I was trying to change my flight. I didn't know if I was going to go home because I didn't want to leave her, but there was nothing I could do. She was almost in a coma, I guess you would call it, or a vegetated state. And I was really torn about it. And I said, Mom, I said, quit messing around. When you see Jesus, go run to him. I said, enough's enough. I said, it's okay. I'm going to take care of things. I love you. But it's time for you to go see Dad and go fishing. And And 3:47 in the morning, Saturday morning, she passed away peacefully. My sister woke me up. So I was staying in my mom's apartment. She was in the building next door, which is the she lived in a what do you call it? Not unassisted, but anyway, the regular. And then she was in the assisted side after she had the stroke, because the hospital felt it was dead. She's going to get the same care whether she was there or there. So why make her stay at the hospital? Thank God, because I don't even know where the hospital is compared to where she lives. So I was by her side. I went to see her at 4. I got there about 4:00 because I just threw some clothes on and ran over. And I got to tell you, she had almost a smile on her face. She was at complete peace. She looked like she was just sleeping, like she was just chilling. It was, it was very, very like a burden lift off me. I was like, all right, I can go home and not stress. Because I didn't want to leave my sister there. I wanted to make sure everything was taken care of. So she she granted my wishes and let me go home without being under stress. And so I had all that going on. I flew home, and it was really interesting to hear the different conversations in the airport and different people I ran into, questions asked. And I had a lot of people talking to me, texting, Facebooking. Actually, Trippy called me Wednesday morning and asked me how I was doing with my mom. And then we got to talking about Charlie Kirk. And I said, dude, you should come on the show. And he's like, no, I'm not touching that. I said, okay. But even though Trippy and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, we both saw eye to eye on this. He said 100% this guy had no, there was no reason he had to be murdered. So, and look, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip it right now. The summer George Floyd got killed, he was a bad guy. Some say he was a scumbag. I didn't know it, but I saw his rap sheet. I've read it. I saw his toxology report. He was a bad dude, but you know what? He did not deserve to die either. Did he deserve to go to jail? Probably. Did he deserve to have a knee in his throat till he couldn't breathe? No. And with lots of training I've been through and everything else, there was so many other ways you could have done that. He should have been cuffed up and put in a car. I don't know what the heck they were doing, but that's a whole nother show. But look, look, nobody deserves to die. Nobody. Unless, you ready for this one, Derek? All right, nobody deserves to die. But if you break into my house to hurt my family, I'm sorry. It's either me or you. I'm going to introduce you to Jesus, or I'm going to go see Jesus. But my family's not getting hurt. I'm standing up. I'm standing my ground.
Well, that's what Trey Gowdy said today. So there's two legitimate reasons to kill someone, and that's protecting yourself or protecting your family. So
I've actually
I have a friend just to make that not even a conversation or topic for debate. There's two legitimate reasons to kill someone, and that's to protect yourself and your home and to protect your family.
I have a friend who is a 7-day Adventist, which, if you don't know anything about 7-day Adventist, do your research, but most of them are very, very passive. So they actually made a movie about a guy who went in the military to serve the country, but he was passive. He would not shoot anybody. So he became a medic and did some other things and was a hero. It was great. It was a good movie. I forget what it was called, but and he asked me that question. He goes, so if someone breaks in your house, I go, I'd shoot him. He goes, without even thinking, you didn't even hesitate. I said, if my family's in danger, there's no discussion. If he's coming in my house with a weapon to do harm. Now, look, if he's coming in empty-handed, just a cat burglar, well, then he's probably going to run into my Rottweiler, and that's a whole nother story right there. He's been trained. Unfortunately, it was my hand he got trained on. Next time I've learned also, Derek, I'm getting one of them sleeves. So when he goes biting, I'll put my arm in it when he has, the dog attack sleeves so he can't hurt me. But, yeah, you're right. 100%. If I'm protecting myself or my family, without a question, I will probably regret it and hurt or feel sorry for the rest of my life. Sad, because there's nothing and nobody should ever want to have to deal with the life that you have to live, that you killed somebody. you took another person's life. That's just something that you'd be twisted if it excited you. So back to Charlie Kirk, he stood for the First Amendment firmly because he gave everybody a platform to discuss with him and debate with him. He didn't care. And he would tell the crowd before the show, there's going to be people here who think differently from us. Let them speak and do not get angry. Just let them get their piece. That to me that's amazing. I don't know that I know some pastors that would even allow that, but a lot of people thought he was racist. A lot of people thought he was. I watched his stuff. I'm telling you, if you don't go and watch his things, then you're going to have your own opinion because you're going to hear MSNBC and CNN and all these other people running their mouths. Who it's kind of funny. They're all getting fired right now. If you take a moment, take off your tinfoil hat of your left or right side, whatever, okay, and sit down and just listen to the guy. The guy, he just preached love. Yes, he was very, very strong anti-abortion. He was very strong. I don't. He was not against homosexuality, but I think he was against trans. I'm not sure, but maybe because the trans shooters lately, the last 9 shooters have been trans. So I just watched it and I tried to use open eyes because people asked me who were on the other side and said, Zach, how could you, post this about this guy? Tell me. I don't know much about him. Tell me about him. And my number one answer is 100%. He was a human, first and foremost. Secondly, he was a brother of Christ with me. And if you're a Christian, then it's another brother or sister in Christ, then there's no reason. You should never even have an ounce of hate towards somebody. Hate and Christianity don't go together. Whatever. I say this all the time. I love everybody exactly where they are. I don't try and change people, but I will sit and listen to you. And if you need help or want to change, then let's talk. If not, you'll half the time. And it was funny. I worked in the restaurant industry, and I had a lot of staff that was LGBTQRSWXYZ, whatever. And Lorianne and I were going to start a mission, a ministry. I wanted to start where it was a safe place for people to come and hang out, and if kids after school to do homework or play basketball or whatever. And then Sundays I wanted to do a big family style meal where everybody sat and broke bread and asked questions. What don't you understand? I actually went to a Bible study like that last night, and we wanted to do that, and we talked about it. And I actually had one of my servers who was gay. She was a lesbian. She came up to me and she says, would I be allowed to come to that? I said, why wouldn't you? I would welcome you with open arms. She's like, but I'm a lesbian. I said, I don't care. That means absolutely nothing to me. I don't. I love you for you. I don't care who. It's not my place to say who you sleep with. That's between you and your maker. And if you don't believe in a maker, then that's a whole different story. Let me introduce you to him. And I had more than one occasion they would say, you know what, Zach, I'd go to your church. I said, first of all, it's not a church. I don't want to call it a church. Church people get hurt in church. It was just a place to hang out and talk about Jesus and get food, whatever, And so that's what I felt Charlie was doing, but he was on a different level. Obviously, he was out talking. This kid started when he was 18 years old. He started Turning Point at 18. Like, I don't even think I'd even had the mental capacity at 18 to even have a discussion with anybody about anything. I mean, I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Derek, I'm talking a lot, so jump in anytime you want.
No, it amazes me it's just very sad. It's very sad. And I think we're in a time where unfortunately, yeah, there's hope, there's good things that happen, but from a society standpoint, a national standpoint, from an economic standpoint, there's a lot of doom and gloom right now, and that's just because all this stuff that's going on, which is straight demonic,
Right.
is causing fear. And fear is paralysis. Paralysis is recession. Paralysis is division. Paralysis is frustration. Paralysis is the absence of grace. And I keep going back 7 or 8 years, and just a couple years before COVID, and I can't even fathom thinking that by 2025 how hopeless things have become for how many people, and how hateful and divided and ridiculous people have become overall in terms of um, basically every interaction. And so I'm cautiously optimistic. Of course, I have
Let me
to be,
jump. Let me
but
jump in there on that too. I I I understand what you're saying, and yeah, the world may look gloom and doom. It's probably looked this way for a long time, and maybe we had rose-colored glasses on during different decades. But maybe this is the time that the Charlie Kirks and the the Jesus freaks need to stand up and just start loving properly, right? I do
yeah, I
not
mean, like I started a whole like review thing for our business where we'd go out and review small businesses, and just basically just give a ton of grace, give a lot of praise, completely positive. I wouldn't write a bad review. If I
right.
had a horrific experience, and horrific means I've just obstructively allowed someone to fix the situation 3 to 4 to 5 times, realized it wasn't going to get fixed, and probably somewhere I'd never go before, which isn't common, 1 in 20, 30 visits. But
Mhm.
if I had one of those, I just wouldn't leave a review.
Right.
But I tried to practice that about 120 times over the last 4 or 5 months just to show grace. And um, I have kind of stalled on it. But, the point was basically to kind of spread a little bit more grace, for lack of better terms, and forgiveness and positivity. And it's I'll be honest, it's worn me down into the ground. I mean, I have a hard time getting up in the morning, and it's not because I don't want to. It's not because I don't have anything to do. It's not any of that stuff. It's people are so unforgiving right now, and it that's not good. You don't go anywhere as a society in any manner when you are divided, divisive, hateful, graceless, just a faceless demonic society. And so I love the outpouring as a result of this. But I mean, I still have that image in my mind. And when actually had to pull over when I was coming home Friday, because I couldn't get that image of his shot coming out of his neck, and it turned my stomach so bad it made me nauseous. And
Yeah,
when
I
I
like
when
I
I
said,
can't get
I
that
had to
stuff out of
stop
my head,
watching.
like I'll pass out. Like I can't deal with it at that point, just because of what it represents. And the messed up thing to say is that was probably the cleanest shot it could have gone. If that would have hit the head and you would have seen that on video, that would be, I mean, even more traumatic than what it was. The average
There are
civilian
people
isn't
who are
meant
gonna
to
be
see those things on a
traumatized.
regular basis, but that's a repeated scene of that, when you're deployed, is one of the many sources of PTSD. So um it's just it's to me it's shocking that um we can be politicized more than having the humanity of realizing that his 1-year-old son will only know who his dad was. He'll never know him. And his 3-year-old daughter, her first memory in life will be daddy didn't come home from his business meeting with Jesus. He actually had a bullet in his neck.
Right.
That will be her first memory. I don't know if you remember being 3 or 4.
I don't.
But that's about the time your memories start to kick in. I still specifically remember my first 2 memories, probably 3.5 years old. This will be his daughter's first memory of her life.
She was there, I think.
Now everybody, 8 billion people in the world, shut up and think about that.
Right.
And if you have something else to say, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
And you're a fucking piece of shit if you have anything else to say other than that, because I don't like turns into let me ruin your life. And
Right.
that is unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. It's not it's demonic.
It is. And there's several. All right, let's touch on that. I do not want to forget about the Ukrainian girl who got murdered on the bus. Irana Zadarowska. I don't know if I said it right. I'm Ukrainian. I should be able to say it, but I watched the video of that. Horrific. We'll get into that in a minute. This situation that happened, let's call it what it is. This assassination, martyr, whatever, that happened on Monday. When you celebrate, and I watched several different special forces guys talk about this, who said you never, ever, ever celebrate the murder or death of your enemy. It's just the form of respect. You've taken a life. You leave it at that.
It's sacred. It's
Yes.
sacred. You weren't meant to give or take.
And
life
these
as a
people
human
who
being.
probably don't even know what the guy stood for, they've just heard through the grapevine that he's allegedly a bad guy, whatever. They're out here celebrating like look, that I think enraged me, because that immediately takes me back to exactly what you said. He has 2 kids who will never know their dad. He's out working with Jesus so they can afford blueberries. That's what his wife said. And I saw someone tweet now. I'm hoping they scrub Twitter, because there's stuff on there that should not be on there. Someone tweeted, "Let's kill his wife next so those kids can grow up in the foster system so they can be just effed up like the rest of us." Like, someone, if you even said that jokingly, you would probably get punched in the face if you're within arm's reach of me. That's just horrific. Look, there's people on the left I do not like. And if you ever watch Political No Brainer when I was on it, you'll know who they are. But I would never, ever wish death on anyone. There was nobody ever that got to that level. And it just, I don't even know what there to say anymore. It's just, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's just a sad, sad situation. Like, where do we go from here? This girl gets murdered on the bus. Did you watch that video by any chance?
Which one was it?
The blonde Ukrainian girl who got stabbed on the bus.
Where was that?
I want to say Charlotte.
I don't really, honestly, I know
you
feel
don't watch the
horrible
news.
saying this, but I don't think I even heard much about it. I have to be honest with you.
It happened last week.
That's crazy.
I saw the bus. They had the camera in the bus, and you watch the video. The guy just came up behind her, stabbed her in the neck, and walked off the bus. He didn't know her. Supposedly he had mental health issues. I don't know. But he was released on I'll come back to court. He was released on one of those, and he murdered this girl. And if you watch the video, if you have the stomach for it, which I hope you do, so you understand where I'm coming from with the anger, the pure horror in her eyes, realizing that she's bleeding out and no one was even moving to help her, and then her just slump over and fall off the bus seat onto the floor dead. Thank God she went very, very quickly. It wasn't like he stabbed her multiple times and she took like an hour to die. She was gone. He got her right in the jugular, gone. But to watch her as a dad, I'm going to say this as a man, to watch a grown man stab a innocent young, I think she was a college student. She looked to be about my daughter's age, stab her in the neck. She was all alone by herself, and her last thoughts were, I can only imagine, but I would imagine, like, why? What just happened? Why?
Was there no one else on the bus?
Yes, and nobody moved to help her. And those people, in my opinion, are just as guilty as the guy who killed her.
What happened to the guy after he stabbed her? What did
They
he
got
do?
her. They got him. They knew who it was. He was on video. I mean, he's right there. You looking right at his face.
Did the people on the bus tackle him?
Nope, the cops got him. They went and picked him up. Nobody did anything. Nobody even moved. Nobody got up to even check on her when she fell off her seat.
Wow.
You got to watch the video.
I can't watch the videos
You'll probably cry.
anymore.
Yeah, well, don't watch the video.
I
But
can't
I'm
do
just
it.
saying it's and look, I'm not racist. I'm not starting a race war. It was a black guy who killed a white girl. But from my understanding, doesn't matter about the skin color. Supposedly he had major mental illness problems, and they released him on this last whatever he did. They said with a promise to appear, and he went out and killed the girl the next day.
That's crazy.
So that's where we are, and of course, everybody's like, "Well, the jails are too full," and blah 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 blah. Well, now the morgue's full. It just it is it. So several questions I get asked. Why do you carry, Zach? There's your answer. I have more than one weapon on me at all times. My family will never be in jeopardy. I will eliminate the problem before the problem, unless the problem eliminates me prior. And then guess what? Mama's got backup too. So good luck. And that's the way it should be. And I hate it. We're turning into the Wild West again. It's like the old days of the OK Corral. You're coming out the saloon and getting gunned down, but that's what they're going for. And everybody's like, oh, gun violence, take away the guns. Okay, then all the criminals have it. I don't know. So I don't know. You don't watch the news. Maybe I catch news clips, my friend, but Daniel's from Albuquerque. The mayor of Albuquerque did a gun ban for, I want to say it was a week, a mandatory gun ban. No guns were allowed. No one was allowed to have any guns. Violent crimes, home invasions, carjackings went through the roof because all the criminals knew. It was like the purge. What do they care? And like, so you make a law and you think the bad guys are going to go, all right, I'm not going to, here, just hold my gun. I'll come get it in a week. Stop it. If you think that, then let me know where you live and I'll make sure I put a sign out in your front yard. Hit this house first because they don't think you'll do anything. I shouldn't say that, but I'm going to get canceled tonight. I'm fired up a little bit. I'm trying to remain calm and cool and collected, but I'm a little fired up. Look, again, if this had been assassination of somebody on the other side, I'd still have a righteous anger because again, nobody deserves to be assassinated. Nobody deserves that. No, I don't care what you believe. I mean, maybe one person in the whole world, maybe Hitler deserved it. I don't know. I can't say. Again, I'm not God, so I don't get to say who gets to get got, and I'm sorry this is kind of a gloomy show, guys, but this is something we have to talk about. This is a hot topic right now. I mean, jump in if you guys are out there, jump in the chat, tell me what you think. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what's going through your mind. Let me know. I want to chat with you. I want to hear what's going on. I'd like to know both sides. Why do you feel, if you feel Charlie talked too much, maybe he deserved to be shut up, let me know why. I don't know that we're going to have a long discussion, but I don't know if you saw, Derek, and you're not on social media much, so you probably didn't, but I follow several different pastors who I listen to and appreciate them. And right now, some of the more outspoken ones that I really like, because they preach the word and they don't take any kind of BS from the pulpit whatsoever, are infuriated with churches that did not do a moment of silence, didn't say anything about Charlie in their message, didn't say anything about 9/11, didn't bring anything up. They said that the soft pastors kind of tiptoed around that subject and they didn't want to offend somebody. Is it offensive? I mean, if we're talking about Jesus every week. That nobody said anything about 9/11 or Charlie Kirk or the Russian girl or the Ukrainian girl who got murdered.
On what? What do you mean that no one said anything?
From the pulpit. A lot of pastors didn't talk about it. They skated around this weekend.
Oh, I think you have to talk about it.
I do. I think there's people hurting. Look, there's a lot of people who don't understand why is this happening. And they may not even have any conservative or right wing or whatever you guys want to call us wackies, whatever. They may not even have those beliefs, but they're looking out there seeing people just getting killed left and right, and they want to know why. They might even be fully left sided. I mean, I actually, have talked to people who said, I had a person ask me, why would you, they were an atheist, I'm assuming, because they said, why would your God allow someone who's one of his people get murdered? That's a tough question. A lot of people ask me after 9/11, why did God allow that? If you want the real answer, it's in the Bible. It explains it, because the world is under darkness and God does not rule the earth. Satan does. And that's why us Christians are to fight it. And darkness, unfortunately, sometimes gets the upper hand. It is what it is. God doesn't allow it. That's why we have free will. Yeah. The angels have free will. I know.
I think they do.
It's a discussion we've had. I guess we'll find out one day. You're going to come laugh at me, I'm sure, won't you, when we're in heaven? I told you.
I don't think we'll care.
No, I don't think. It's one of those things, like my mom used to tell me when I was a kid. It baffled me. It would really, really just like I struggled with it. How did God never begin and never ends? And I mean, it was just, and my mom's like, who cares? When you get to heaven, ask him. How about that? Fair enough. And then she gave me the example of a ring. There's no beginning, no end in a ring. That's how God is. So then it made sense to me. Probably still doesn't. But yeah, you're right. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we struggled with down here on earth, and we're going to get to heaven and go, that was stupid. Maybe there's a big "that was stupid" button up there. That was stupid. But a lot of people ask me that because people are hurting. Even people who don't believe in God want to understand why and how. Why does this hurt so much? I just say we live in a dark world, man. It's just, but the good news
it's either dark or idiotic. I mean, or both, but it's weird to me because like,
the good news
in my mind, the only thing to do is to celebrate and carry on the legacy for this guy, not to have discussions about what we agreed with or didn't agree with him. Even the most conservative person didn't agree with every single point about this person.
Correct.
No one agrees with every single thing about anyone. Get the F over it.
Right. We're not robots. And why would we want to be robots?
Where were your parents when you were 18 and you thought you knew everything and you were the center of the world? Where were they when they were supposed to tell you no one gives a shit? Okay. No one gives a shit about your bitching, about your opinions on. No one cares. No one cares. Okay. So that's a little extreme, but I think the message behind that is that it's not you are right. It's you are a series of characteristics and beliefs and opinions, and that's beautiful. It's to be celebrated. But to decide to play God when a couple of those characteristics don't match up with yours is totally. I mean, it's. I guess all sin can be forgiven, but it's straight from the devil.
Correct. We had, it's funny in the Bible study last night. Oddly enough, there's a cigar shop close to me in Ocoee that they do a Bible study on Mondays. It's cigars in the Bible, or Bible and cigars. And everybody's like, cigars, you're a sinner. Shut up. Stop being religious.
What kind of people are around you that does someone really say that to you?
I have had it. Yeah.
From who?
Because they're religious. They don't understand.
From who? Name one person who would say you're sinning because you're having a cigar. That's weird, man.
I can't.
That's very strange.
I don't listen to them.
Now, is it a sin to deliberately destroy your body? I think so. I think it's a temple, right? And I think anyone can have their opinion on cigars, but I mean, that's crazy. Like, even if someone was smoking, I wouldn't say you're a sinner, but I would say I think that destroying your body intentionally would be, a sinful thing.
Sorry, I thought I heard somebody screaming in my house. I think my son's playing video games. Call of Duty. So, hey, he works all day, hard. He comes home, he wants to play little video games. I don't care. At least he goes to work.
At least he doesn't smoke cigars.
Yeah, he's not a sinner. But the question was brought up Like how? Let's use Hitler as an example. What if Hitler on his deathbed or his last day or two on earth had an encounter with Jesus and realized he was absolutely wrong in what he did? He needed forgiveness. He begged for forgiveness from Jesus, and his heart was truly repentant. Because there's a lot of people who say, "Oh yeah, I've talked. I said the sinner's prayer. Did you mean it? Well, I hope so. Well, then you didn't. And that's a whole nother discussion. But I mean, and people go, well, how would Hitler be in heaven after killing, what was it, 3 million or 8 million Jews or whatever it was? Look, that's a great question. And that's one that you have to understand, that God's a loving God. And he does it, thank God it's God and it's not me or you. Because I don't know that I could forgive someone for killing 8 million people or whatever. That would be very difficult. But so you're right. Everybody can be forgiven. They have to be at the right place, the right time. Jesus and God love you where you are and will forgive you. You have to live with what you did for the rest of your life. That's your penance, I'm sure. But in God's eyes, sin is sin. It doesn't matter if you slaughter people or if you steal something and lie about it. It's a sin. Same thing. There's no levels. Anything that goes against his will is a sin. So you might as well, if you're going to be a little white liar, you might as well go out and slaughter people. No, don't do that. I'm kidding. Don't do that. I'm just saying, but that's how in his eyes. And even one of the commandments is, thou shalt not kill. So pretty sure that's obviously a bad thing in his eyes too. But
It's weird to me that it's not strange or foreign to me that all sins are equal in his eyes. What's a little strange to me, this would be a good question, is that okay, murder and lying are the same sin wise to you, but like one of them is sinning and one of them's actually purporting that we should be doing what you're doing, like giving and taking life. That's
sure.
weird. Like that's like,
Well, do you know where all sins stem from? Every one of them has a root in.
do I know where all sins stem from?
Every
I mean,
sin comes from one thing.
well, comes from the fall.
No.
Comes
Inside of
from,
us.
I mean,
Pride.
okay, pride, doubt, Satan, whatever you want to
No,
call it.
it's pride, 100%. So I covet my neighbor. He's got a sweet truck. I covet it. Pride, because I think I'm better. I should have it. I murder somebody because I don't like what they're saying or because I don't like how they look or how they act or whatever it is. Pride, because I'm better than them. I lie because I'm proudful. You don't need to know anything else. I'm lying. Whatever sin, whatever you're breaking. That's why. And it's funny. We're getting a little religious this evening, but and I don't say religious, but people may not understand my verbiage. When Jesus was on the earth, whether you believe in him or not, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. That's between you and him. But most people who actually studied him, who don't believe in him, realize he was a good dude. There wasn't anything wrong. There was no reason he should have been murdered, right? There's 100% reason why, but in a non-believer's eyes, they may not understand it. But Jesus said when the Pharisees and Sadducees, and those were the holy men, the big shots, the priests, the high guys back in the day, like they said to him, what is the greatest commandment of all? And he knew that they were trying to trap him. And he said, to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. If you do those two things, you will never break any of the other 10 commandments. You can't, because you won't let pride get in the way, because you love everybody unconditionally.
Right.
And then you can't kill them. You can't lie to them because you know that you're hurting them. And I just think that's why I said everything stems from pride. So this kid who shot Charlie was so proud that he said, this guy needs to be put down because I don't think he's talking right. And I don't think he's saying what I believe in. So I'm going to kill him. That's pride. So,
Yeah, I mean, I would call it pride in a sense of believing you're so convicted that you're right that you're willing to play God.
right.
I have to be honest. I think humans are retarded. From smart to from smart to stupid, I think we're all pretty retarded in terms of our.
We're somewhere on the spectrum. Is that what you're saying?
We are a retardation of the mental capabilities compared to when you're comparing with God, right? So if you have pride, you have a belief that, I don't like this guy because this guy says these things and I don't believe that's correct. So therefore, because I don't believe it's correct, I am God and I will go ahead and take the life that God gave him. And I think, I mean, in that case, I'm not going to make this a debate, but it's tough to believe that could ever be forgiven. That is tough to me.
I know.
It's tough
It
because that's
is.
brutal. That's like saying I am God, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's Lucifer status saying I am God. I am greater than God.
Well, that was why did Lucifer fall?
Right. His
Pride.
pride.
Yep.
But he's banished forever. There's no comebacks. If
He's an
Lucifer
angel, so he
repented,
has no. He's an
but
angel,
if
so he has no
Lucifer
soul.
repented, would hell go away, right? Okay, so this kid, repent or not, he says, I am God because my beliefs are subjectively greater, qualitatively greater than what this guy's is. So I am God.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the
Well,
same thing. So it's strange to me that an angel with free will is banished. There is no forgiveness, no grace. There is no whatever. And maybe that was because that was before Jesus, right?
it
But
was,
and then
but it
in
was also angels. Angels don't have a soul.
Okay, but a human being doing the same thing, it's like what makes a human good enough to I also believe this kid repents honestly in his heart before he gets executed because he's going to get the death penalty and that's what he deserves.
He hasn't even confessed yet.
Right, I know. But when he does and let's say he does repent, I believe he'll be forgiven. But it's weird to know that his same mentality was the same mentality as Lucifer. And that he can be forgiven.
Well,
That's really weird.
every
I don't think
sin.
any human can explain that.
I get it, but every sin's the same thing. It all stems from
I
Lucifer.
understand that. I understand that. But when you think you can do what God does, you're Lucifer. Like
Right.
that's
But
so again, I'm not arguing with you that he won't be
no, no,
forgiven.
no.
He'll be forgiven
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
he
yeah, no,
wants
no.
to
And
be.
I'm not arguing with you at all.
But
Y-
it's weird to think of it in that depth. Like, holy crap, you can
You
be
have to,
Lucifer and be forgiven.
and not that I'm saying I see through God's eyes, because not even close. But you have to almost visualize through God's eyes. Sin is a blanket. There is no difference to him. It's sin, no matter how small or how big. So that's why in his opinion, because imagine if he sat down and was just like, oh, you killed somebody. Nah. Oh, you raped somebody. Maybe. Oh, you stole a piece of chocolate. Okay. No.
But he
Everything's
could if he wanted to.
he
He
could.
could.
Well, yeah, of course. Because
And as
it's not
human
him.
beings, that's what we would do, right? And we're in his image, right? So it's
Right.
like, how come God is just like, hey, angel, you're proud and rebellious. You will be damned to hell for life. Hey, human, you're proud and rebellious, and you can be forgiven if you want to be. It's a strange thing to consider. It sounds like almost like a double standard, like we're meant to be
I
loved and
get it.
angels aren't.
I get it.
You know,
I get it. But
and
and the
maybe if
angels,
you're right and angels don't have free will, then maybe that's where the logic and the
no, there's
rationale is.
nothing. I don't think it has anything to do with free will. I think it has to do with the soul.
Well, right. If they aren't meant to be loved by God in the same capacity as we
They
are,
are meant, angels were created for one thing, to
give
serve and
praise.
worship God.
Right.
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 And so then this is the debate where we get
You would
into
think
about
God would love them back, though.
I'm sure he does.
Not enough to save Lucifer.
Yeah, but you realize Lucifer was one of the archangels. He was one of his boys. That
I
was
don't
like
give a shit what he was. I'm just
he
saying
was the
that.
most beautiful. He was loved by God for
I'm
sure.
just saying that
But
he
yeah, yeah, I
has
get it.
no
I get what you're saying.
possibility of forgiveness, and we
Yeah.
do. It's a
And I
strange
guess that's a question maybe could be
concept.
asked once we get to heaven. I don't know.
I think we'll know. I think we'll get it.
Yeah.
I think we'll understand
So
it, and I think
so
we'll be like at peace with it. And I'm at peace with it. I'm just saying, like I don't think it'll seem irrational when we're there. So
so when Jesus died on the cross for all of humanity, humankind, I think that excluded the angels. And I'm spitballing here, so I don't have I'd have to do research and I don't have time
I
to
don't
dive
think the
into it right
angels
now.
needed to be saved, did they?
I don't you can't hear, but my dog's howling. because he's locked up in the room. That's what you get for shutting the door on yourself, buddy. Anyway, I mean, we kind of went off topic. I mean, it's just tonight, like I said, tonight's one of those shows. I never thought we'd have to do a show like this. Could you imagine? Think back 25 years ago on 9/11, if we were doing a show, and we did the show the day after 9/11. I mean, or the week after. Holy mackerel! That would have been just as horrific as this. You never thought in a million years we would actually have something attack on American soil. Now, look, there are so many conspiracy theories out there. There's so many things going on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual action that happened and all the people that got murdered on 9/11. And let's face it, they were murdered. Americans were murdered on American soil. And I couldn't imagine doing a show after. I mean, and I will say this much. I have seen a wave of emotion come across many of my friends. I've had several friends who are not believers who told me that they cried and asked God why. And, from what I understand, the churches this weekend were supposed to be full because of all this. I didn't see it because my church still was pretty crowded, but I mean, it wasn't like millions of strangers. It's just one of those things. It's just, I don't care. There are some inhuman people out there who celebrate it and probably will never care. But there's a lot of people out there who got hurt by this. And it didn't mean because they were a Charlie Kirk fan. They got hurt because another human got murdered on live TV. When was the last time someone got murdered on live TV?
He was on live TV. Was he on? That was on like like that was being broadcast.
Yeah.
On where?
I think out on the campus. It was the TV station for Salt Lake City.
I don't know. I couldn't answer you. It happens, but
I mean, not that I don't know. Maybe Kennedy. I mean, we saw President Trump get shot. He obviously, thank God, did not get murdered. Was Martin Luther King's murder on TV?
I mean, I wasn't born. I'd have to
maybe George Floyd. That was maybe more videotape from the crowd. I don't know. It's a horrific thing. There are going to be people who were there, promise you, who are going to be traumatized for a long time. Could you imagine being in the front row, standing there, and he was answering a question, and how interesting the question was? What do you think about transgender shooters? And then
the shooter has a transgender partner.
Right. Yeah. So, interesting. Yeah. I find that all very, very interesting. This is where my conspiracy theory mind starts going nuts. Okay. All right. What's going on here? I don't know. Have you seen Candace Owens? She's on the warpath right now.
Yeah, she's getting mad views too. Like she's released a couple response videos, and they're like at 6 or 7 million. It's crazy.
My son is a welder. I have 3 boys. The middle one is a welder, and he told me about her new video she released today, and he's like, "You have to watch it." She's calling out people. Like she said, this was a hit. This was 100% a hit. This kid was not the one who did it. I mean, so obviously she's got her tinfoil hat on for sure. I don't know that I subscribe to it. I don't know that I want to. I can't right now. You got to give me evidence. I'm not going to go crazy and start flying by the seat of my pants saying, Israel did this, because that's her claim to fame. Now, here's something that is difficult for me, and you and I may agree or differ on this one. You're a business owner. I know you and I believe in the First Amendment. If I work for you, I have Turbo Tint everywhere on my website, my Facebook page, and I made a post celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, would you fire me?
Yes.
Okay. And it's in every right for you to, because I am a representative of your company, correct?
Yes, I would. There's probably multiple of reasons why I would, but
right.
Yes.
But I'm talking from a business point of view.
Any point of view, yes.
So I agree. I agree. I also know that people are getting fired that may not have anything on there, that people find out where they work and they go after the company and tell them to get rid of them. Is that infringing on First Amendment rights? This is a sticky situation because I'm torn. I'm torn because these
No, because
people who are
it's
celebrating
not
it.
like they're committing a crime. They're violating policy,
Okay,
right?
so if you go a
I mean,
policy fan for
it's your right to smoke a cigarette, but it's not your right to stand at work all day and smoke cigarettes and not work. You're violating a policy. So no, I
correct.
mean, I think
Okay.
it's not.
Well,
No,
I
it's
asked
not.
the
It's
First
not. It has
Amendment.
nothing to do with the Constitution in that sense. It's actual work conduct, code of conduct, whatever you want to call it.
Now, if somebody a year from now was fired from their job because they said something and then they came to apply at a job and you did a little background and you found out, would that change your thoughts of hiring them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was talking to another person. They said from an HR standpoint, First Amendment goes out the window when you're at work. You don't have the
Right.
right to say stupid stuff,
Correct.
especially if you're broadcasting it on a social media platform and their company name, Turbo Tint is all over their webpage or whatever, and then people they'll assume, well, maybe Turbo Tint feels that way. I think TMZ just got jammed up pretty good for that. Did you see that?
No. Did someone get fired?
So the guy, the white Jewish guy, the bald guy who's like the head talker on TMZ.
Yes.
He and the black guy were standing in the studio talking about. I don't even know what they were talking about. I don't know. The moment Charlie Kirk got shot in the room behind them, the whole crowd cheered. They came back and said, no, 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 had nothing to do with that. It was a car chase they were watching and the cops got him. And later on, what are they called? When someone whistleblower came out and said, not at all. They were cheering because Charlie Kirk got shot. And I think TMZ is eating a little crow right now. I'm not sure what's going on, but I find that pretty interesting. I don't celebrate people getting fired. I think it's hilarious that they're now going right back to social media crying because they made a post about Charlie Kirk and now they have no job and they have no money. They don't know how they're going to pay rent. What do I do? I was watching a girl. She's like going on and on. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to pull out of this? Buckle up, sweetheart. Shut your pie hole and go get a job, you know? But and then there's other ones who are getting fired and they don't care. They're actually excited. They're like, oh well, whatever. I figured, you might have some opinion on that as a business owner.
I
If
mean,
you're
cultural toxicity will destroy your entire business, no matter the skill level or the background or the education of anyone. So if it's there, it has to go.
you cut the cancer out as soon as possible.
Yeah, you have to. It sucks, but you have to.
So I actually heard a nurse was walked in to the nurse station and a doctor was laughing about it. And she's like, "Are you kidding me? Someone just died and you're a doctor and you're laughing about it." And the hospital suspended her for being um not disrespectful. What's the word? Insubordinate to a superior.
Yeah, I saw that.
And she went on the news and told him exactly what was happening. And HR, I guess, caught wind of it and fired the doctor and brought her back. So,
Yep.
kudos to them for actually paying attention and not just jumping the gun because this doctor said, "Oh, she yelled at me" or whatever. I just, I don't understand, and I see business owners like yourself actually celebrating it, and I'm seeing a lot of doors probably going to be getting shut in the near future because they're not going to get any business. But look, if I'm going to celebrate something, it's going to be a sports game or kudos to my boy because he did an amazing weekend at the Turbo Tint place. He had a great volume or whatever. I'm not celebrating someone getting shot. I don't care what side of the line they stand on. Absolutely not. Those
You're
words will
supposed to
never come out of my
celebrate
mouth.
life, not death.
Exactly.
Unless it's a celebration of life where the death comes as an inevitable form of aging or disease or I mean, you're
Which
still not celebrating death, you're celebrating life. And even in death, you're celebrating, life. Just like with him, we're not celebrating death, we are celebrating he's in heaven. That's fantastic for him. But you know, the the life portion is so out of line. It's ridiculous. To
I
to
think they're
to
doing a
to to,
celebration
to,
of life
to
for
have the
him.
gall to say that of any person, anytime whatsoever, any is just absolutely a indicator of the demise of society. That is bizarre. Can you go back 40 years and imagine anyone not only not celebrating but happy about it?
Right.
No, you would
No.
not. Nobody. Go watch a video on YouTube. McDonald's 1984. Women are in heels. All shirts are tucked in. Dress pants. Dress clothes. Workers are hustling. It's a different society than today.
Right.
Today, people are shit. Okay, they're entitled. They've got we have too much access to technology. We're lazy.
Mhm.
Um, we had parents. Some of us had parents who didn't feel like parenting. Must be nice. It's just a different. It's a demise of society in terms of spiritual warfare.
Right.
The fact that anyone could do that is so messed up that I wouldn't even want to hear it. Like,
I
don't even tell me. Don't tell me. Don't talk about it. I don't even want to hear it. It's not
Right.
in my world. My world can go ahead and be without that.
Yes.
And you can call it a
100%.
bubble, and I don't give a shit. That's not right.
100%. Now, on the flip side, I don't wish those people death. I just
Nope.
wish them. I
I
wish
don't
them
either.
maybe to lose their voice or something.
I don't wish them anything. I just wish
I
they'd
don't.
shut the hell up.
Yeah. I think it's funny you talk about a celebration of life. My mom, Pat, like I said, she passed away Saturday, and she donated her body to science, which she's told me since I was young, as far back as I can remember, and it kind of baffled me why she would do that, because she did not want to have a funeral because she wants to have a celebration of life
Hmm.
because she doesn't want people to be sad. That was one of the hardest things when I was with her, to not cry. And it was tough because my mom told me, she goes, "You know where I'm going. Why are you sad?" She, I didn't tell you the story because we haven't talked this week because you've been in the Great White North. Was it cold up there, by the way? No, it was not cold at my mom's either in
80,
Pennsylvania.
89 and sunny.
It was in the upper 70s, maybe got up in the 80s one day. I don't remember, but it was at night. It got down in the 40s, but I went outside. I was in t-shirt and sweats, and I was fine. It's a different kind of cold up there. Um, my mom on Labor Day, and I will tell this story because I find it really interesting, and maybe it'll give people some hope. I don't know. Um, at least if you're a believer. I know a lot of people who are scared to die. My mom told us last Monday she would not get out of bed. She was unresponsive, but her vitals were fine. There was nothing wrong with her other than she was in a deep, deep sleep, as far as what the nurses said. When she woke up that evening, she told me and my sister both, "I was just on a trip." I said, "Oh yeah, where'd you go?" She said, "I was in heaven. I was with your dad fishing. I was with your Uncle Bob. My parents were there. I saw a lot of different people, but God told me it wasn't my time yet. He was going to come get me this week. So go back and finish everything you're supposed to do on earth, and and I'll see you soon." Now, you don't know my mom. If my mom said that, I believe it 100%. If anyone's going to hear from God, it'd be my mother, right? And when she told me that, I actually got to talk to her last Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, and I cried on the phone because I knew she was wrapping up. And So I called her the next day and she answers the phone. I said, what are you doing? She said, just waiting. I said, oh, I thought you were going to be gone. She's like, not yet. She goes, but you need to get up here. I said, but if you're going to be gone, what do I need to be up there for? She says, you need to come help your sister get through this. I said, okay. So I went, I talked to my sister. My sister went to see her. My sister said Saturday she did the same thing. She played possum all day. She acted like she was, in this, but she got up in the morning, got dressed, and then sat in her chair and would not respond to anybody, but her vitals were fine. Everything was fine. And then she woke up and she went with my sister and brother-in-law to dinner, got up Sunday morning, went to church, went and had a big breakfast with them, spent the day with them, and 1 week to the day, that Monday is when she had the massive stroke from the Monday before where she told us that she was going to be in heaven soon. I find it really interesting, but I also find it so relieving because my mom knew where she was going. She was so much at peace. She was so excited, so happy. And she told us, now, I'm human. I'm going to be sad. My mother's gone. Okay. I said, great. You're going to leave me. I'm going to be an orphan. Me and my mom had a pretty fun, sick sense of humor to get towards each other. But I also, on the flip side, knew that she was going home to my dad. She was going home to Jesus. And she had absolutely zero remorse. And when I speak at her memorial, one of the things that I'm going to really impact on is how much my mother loved everyone unconditionally, and at every waking moment of her life, as long as I've known her, 56 years, every breath that came out of her mouth, she relentlessly was after your soul for Jesus. Relentlessly. So when she passed away, I knew without a doubt where she was. And there was no time for tears or sorrow. It was only time for rejoicing, like you said. And, that's why we're going to do the celebration of life. Now it makes sense. I've totally figured out why she donated her body to science and why she wanted to have a celebration of life, because that's what it was. Let's celebrate life. And I believe, as hard as it is probably for Erica, Kirk, they're doing a celebration of life. I don't know if you heard, they're doing it at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. I don't know what their stadium's called, but anyway, they're doing it out there, and they're going to celebrate life. It's a major loss, a major tragedy. This man was taken from his family, his children, but how great is his testimony? And now he's in his loving Savior's arms. I mean, I don't even know how else to explain it. And I just thought, not that I compare my mom to Charlie Kirk or Charlie Kirk to my mom, but I said, how interesting how these people had such a passion for God that the only thing we can do is have a celebration of their life and not have a funeral and mourn and cry. And I told my mom, I said, well, good thing you don't have a casket, because I do one of the casket jumps and wrap it up and tell them they can't take my mama. I would not, but So, I mean, that to me, someone asked me how I'm doing, and I said, I'm fantastic. They're like, please explain. And I said, I know where my mom is. I know I'm going to see her again. I know she left this earth only to enter into the kingdom to hear, well done, good and faithful servant, welcome home. Because she did exactly what the Bible told her to do. And you couldn't ask for anything better. And I think Charlie was in the same boat. And I think this is kind of, and so I'm 56. Maybe it took 56 years. My mom used to call me Moses, and she said I was going to roam in the desert for 40 years. So maybe this is my wake up. I finally got to the promised land. But maybe this was the wake up call where I said to myself, that's how I want to go. 100% knowing I did everything I possibly could to give the package to everybody that I possibly could give it to. Whether or not they took it, that's not my responsibility. But as long as they saw the light and Christ in me, then I'll be able to walk into heaven with my head held high and smile and know that my dad's gonna be proud, and not my earthly father, my heavenly father. I don't know. What do you think?
About what?
What I just said?
If people will be proud?
No. Like this is a wake up. Like, this is the way we're supposed to live. You
Yeah.
know, I think we have to be bold.
It's not like there's nothing profound to me what you're saying. I bet to the last 4 funerals I've been to have been celebrations of life.
Beautiful.
It's which is fantastic, you know. I mean, I don't know who even if you weren't a believer, I don't think you want people to mourn your death. Like, why would you want that? Like, you have to have a sixth sense of, you know, to me it's like, you know, almost like, no, I won't say it, but
No. But
I just
understand,
think that
I'm
I
hoping
think
that this
that's
gives people.
I think it's fantastic. I think that's how I think that should be the norm.
Agreed, but I'm hoping this gives some people some hope. You know, in this gloom and doom world that we live in, that, hey, look, if you're living right, and the only way to live is as Christ tells us to, then in the end, there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be sad about. Say your goodbye and move on. And that's how
I think
it
dying is
was.
scary. I think the act of death is scary for everybody. But
I watched my mom
I think
die,
what happens to you after death is
and
should
I
be a
kind of
positive thing, but the act of losing your only thing that you think you've known, I mean, is
but I get that what you're saying, but I not that I disagree with you to start argument's sake, but I watched my mom die and there was absolutely zero fear, 100% joy. She was the happy. This last 2 weeks that I've talked to her on the phone and saw her is the happiest and excited as I've ever seen her. Now,
that's good.
am I going to be that way? I can only hope and pray, right? I'm glad you got to go see your grandfather. How is he? I didn't even ask. How is the guy?
Normal.
Is he still got all his faculties? Does he walk around? Does he drive?
No, he doesn't drive. I mean, he was someone who, when he was 85, just told his kids, "Hey, come help me get my condo ready to sell. I'm checking myself into normal assisted living community and giving up my car and it's 2 miles down the road and sell it for me. And, you know, I'm not a burden to you. I have it all funded and this is what I'm going to do now." So I mean, what kind of person who is that awesome? You know, he
Exactly.
didn't,
I don't know.
and that's because his wife had dementia, and for 3 or 4 years, he had to be the caregiver, the caretaker, and it was a lot of work. So after she passed, he said, you know, um, time for me to get assistance. I'm not going to be burdened to you. And that was probably, I don't know, almost been 15 years ago. And he's 100, and you know, when you're 100, things start to go
Yeah.
old. Your
Yeah.
legs, you know, he needs a walker, you know, most of the time. He wears a hearing aid, but there's nothing genetically hereditary or disease in his entire body, and he's probably the greatest person of faith you'd ever met. He's crazy. Him and his mom were that way.
That's awesome.
Um, and he's just old,
I
but
will say,
he's as coherent, and um, he's how he was to me 30 years ago. Just old.
I will
It's
say, and
crazy. He's
I
fine.
don't know. I can't tell you 100% in my mind that I know this is fact or fiction. The last year or so, my mom's memory has been declining big time. Short term, she had no short term memory. Like, she didn't have any comprehension of dates and days and stuff. And when I talked to her that Tuesday after Labor Day, I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, they're having a Labor Day party." I said, "Mom, it was yesterday. You slept the whole day, so you missed it." Stuff like that. But
Yep.
she was still sharp as a tack, read her Bible every single day. From what I understand, I talked to the chaplain there. She was in 5 or 6 different services every day during the week, Bible studies, and she was studying all these new different books, not new books, but every day they would do something new. And I mean, that to me was amazing. And then I meet this guy who lives next door to her, and he was 101, World War II vet, sharp as a tack. But like you said, he needed a walker. He didn't have a car anymore.
Right.
But my point was getting my mom's memory was starting to go. They moved her from independent living to assisted living because she was forgetting to do certain things, take her vitamins, take her pills, take a shower, stuff like that. They took away her car. I think some of the stuff might have weighed heavy on her, like she was realizing. But my dad died in 2001, and my mom's been saying she's ready to go home since the day he died. So she's been going for 24 years. So she waited a long time, to go see him.
Right.
But, did she give up? Did she quit? I can't say yes. I don't think in a million years I would have ever thought a blood clot, a massive blood clot in the brain would have took her out. I thought one day she was just going to peacefully just fall asleep, and that was it, which she actually ended up doing. But unfortunately, the stroke took a little bit more out of her than anything else. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I just wanted tonight's show was a little gloomy. I apologize. Listen, it was just something on my heart. Whether you agree or disagree, please let's all remember we're all human. We got to love everybody. You don't got to be friends with everybody. There's nowhere in the Bible that says you got to be homies with everybody and go drink beer or whatever. But you do have to love everybody, and no one deserves to die. I hope we give you a little hope tonight. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to jump on the socials. We're on all of them: Facebook, X, Twitter. That is Twitter. Instagram. Just check us out under No Brainer. On YouTube, we're under No Brainer Shows. Just reach out. Any questions, anytime. We're here for you. We'd love to chat with you. We're always looking for guests. If you have a very interesting story, business, if you're famous, hey, famous people, come on. We'd love to chat with you. We've got a great guest Thursday night, a phenomenal entrepreneur. She started a company. I'll let her tell you, but sobriety and everything else, and how she turned her life around and now has a multi-million-dollar company. And it's a very amazing story. I met her, and I think you're really going to like her. And Derek, I think you're going to enjoy talking to her too. But guys, please remember, when you cut yourself and the guy next to you cuts himself, it's the same color. Everything's on the inside is the same. So just love one another, be kind to one another. Again, you don't got to be homies with everybody, but just go out there and be the difference you want to see in the world. That's just my words of wisdom for tonight. Derek, thanks for joining us for another fantastic live podcast.
Oh yeah.
I love live. I wish people would get more involved with us. My boy Billy's on right now. So you didn't believe my best friend's Billy. He goes by Cletus. You can see him in the chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's my boy. He's Billy Wayne. He's the troublemaker. He's the one who got me in trouble all the time. He'll tell you different. He's gonna probably pop in right now and he's Zach's lion. I'm waiting for it. Guys, we hope I tried not to be as dark as anything, but it's part of life right now. If you have, and I don't support or know of anything, but if you have thoughts harming someone or harming yourself or anything like that, please reach out for help. Ask someone to help you before you do anything. You only have one life. Let's live our lives to the fullest. Let's be the best people we can possibly be. I know I am trying to do that every single day. And someday I'd love to meet you and give you a hug and let you know. But there we go. Anyway, check us out. We're on all the socials. Stay tuned. We're always live on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Next week, I promise, is going to be maybe a more fun, crazy show. Hopefully our in-house guest will show up. Chris, he's been very busy. which is good because business is picking up. How's your business, buddy? You doing good? No. All right. I'm not going to go into it then. But we will talk to you. Check out the show Friday morning. We'll release it Friday. We're doing recording Thursday. We do Friday, and then we'll be back again live next Tuesday. Until next time, we love you. Thank you very much. Peace.
See ya.